Yes, my people, welcome back to the Jab Journal Show where we talk all things boxing. So, if you're a fan of the sport and you want to stay in touch, make sure you hit that subscribe. Anyways, in case you missed it, yesterday it was confirmed that Romero will be defending his WBA welterweight title against Teofimo Lopez in Las Vegas on August the 22nd. Now, if you would have asked me a year and a half ago who wins this fight, I would have said, are you crazy? What kind of question is that? Of course, it's Teofimo Lopez. Teofimo Lopez excels in every department. He's better. He's just levels or two above Rolly Romero. He's quicker. He's faster. Every single department, bar power, Teofimo Lopez excelled in. Now, of course, a lot has happened in that short span of time. A lot has happened since a year and a half ago. And if you ask me the question now, who wins today? My answer is Rolly Romero. And I'll explain why shortly. But first, let's talk about both fighters. So, I'll start off by saying this. This fight is a must-win for Teofimo Lopez. The pressure is on Teofimo Lopez to win this fight. I don't think there's any pressure on Rolly Romero. I mean, in my personal opinion, Rolly has already exceeded expectations. He's a multi-division world champion who started the sport, very late. He started boxing at around 16 years old. So for him to be even in this situation or to be in the position that he is in today is nothing short of remarkable. For Teofimo Lopez, ever since he beat Lomachenko, he's been touted as the guy who is going to take over the sport of boxing. He's been the guy that people are saying, this is the guy, this is the future of the sport. And his name says it. He's called the Takeover for a reason. I mean, the pressure was on him. But has he lived up to those expectations? I don't think so. And no one can argue with that. This is a man that went from beating Vasily Lomachenko to the next fight losing against George Kambosos Jr. Now, I'm not shitting on him for losing a fight. Every fighter loses. Not every fighter, sorry, but I mean, it's not common to stay undefeated for your whole career. I think people have this conception of Floyd Mayweather and what he's achieved in the sport and think you have to be undefeated. No. Some of your best fighters have lost fights. Right? So, of course, that George Kambosos fight, though, the reason why people look at it a bit differently was a fight that he was supposed to win, knowing the quality and the talent that Teofimo Lopez possesses. That should have been a shout out for him. But anyways, he lost that fight. Teofimo Lopez went back to the drawing board. He built himself back up. He had wins over guys like Arnold Barboza. He went on to fight Steve Claggett. He moved on to fight. He moved up to a whole nother division. He moved up a whole nother division and became the man in that division. Teofimo Lopez, don't forget, is a two-time lineal champion, a two-weight world champion. He was a man in two divisions. So he moved up. He worked on some things, or he went back to the drawing board, got some wins under his belt, and then he challenged, or he defended his belt against Shakur Stevenson. Now, me personally, when that fight with Shakur Stevenson was announced, I said Shakur Stevenson wins this all day. Now, it's nothing against Teofimo Lopez. Teofimo Lopez is a quality fighter, and if he shows up, he could cause an upset. But the thing with Teofimo Lopez for me was, you can't rely on Teo. Teo is not a fighter that you can say, oh, he's going to perform tonight. His career has been up and down and up and down and up. And it's evident. Look at the way he performed against Vasily Lomachenko, to Kambosos, to Arnold Barboza Jr., where he was on top. And then again against Jermaine Ortiz or Sandor Martin, where again he shows that he might not be at that level. But then he shows he's at that level. For me, Teofimo Lopez has always been, I can't rely on him, basically what it was. And the second thing was, the reason I thought Shakur Stevenson would win this fight was because Teofimo Lopez, yes, he's exceptional. He's exceptional in many departments. But in order to be a fighter like Shakur Stevenson, you have to have incredible output and you have to have amazing feet. You have to close the distance and you have to put it on him. And yes, Teofimo Lopez has good feet, but you have to have exceptional feet to go against a fighter like Shakur Stevenson. And I just didn't think he had exceptional feet. And I was right. Shakur Stevenson absolutely dominated that fight. You'd be lucky, or you'd be lucky to give Teofimo Lopez a round in that fight. Now, going back to what I said, the pressure is on Teofimo Lopez. Rolly Romero in this fight, there's no pressure on him. He's exceeded expectations, actually. Rolly Romero started boxing, 16 years old? yeah, he started boxing at 16 years old. He's a multi-level world champion, so he's done all right for himself despite, everything. And with Rolly, look, if you look at his performance, I mean, no one in the sport has ever really highly regarded Rolly as the next big thing. I mean, he's been a good fighter, but you've always known that he's a bit limited in his abilities. I mean, you could see in his performances against Gervonta Davis, his performance against Isaac Pitbull Cruz, and even the win he had against Barroso, which people would say shouldn't have been a win for him. That fight shouldn't have been stopped, and he was losing that fight. So, yeah, and I think that's where someone like Rolly Romero excels, when he's the underdog, when there's no pressure on him, because it's like, I can fight however I want to fight, and no matter what the outcome is, there's no pressure on me. I'm comfortable to be me. I'm relaxed. Whereas with Teo, it's not the case. Now, why do I think that Rolly Romero beats Teofimo Lopez? I'll go back to the point I was just talking about, and it's pressure. You see, in boxing, pressure, when the pressure is on you, there's only three outcomes. One of them is good. The first outcome, that's the good one, is you level up. You dig deep. Your pressure is on you. You go to a place that you've never been before because of this pressure, and then you level up to a level that no one expected, and you perform phenomenally. And that could happen, but I don't think that will happen. The second and the third options are the negative ones that I was going to bring up. The first negative one is, when the pressure is on you as a boxer and it affects you negatively, what happens is you tend to freeze. You tend to overthink things, where you're not as effective because you're overthinking everything you do. Which is, I'll give you an example of that. Which is the Ryan Garcia versus Rolly Romero. Ryan Garcia was coming off that fight. He was the favorite. He was coming off a fight where he got popped for PEDs, and that basically cast the doubt upon him. So the pressure was on him to see, listen, yes, you popped for PEDs, so did you really win that fight? Let's see the kind of fight you are now that you're being tested. Now that you can't fail a drug test. Let's see how you look. And I think that pressure kind of got to Ryan Garcia, and he ultimately froze. He didn't know what to do, and he overthought everything that he was supposed to do. The second kind of pressure that I was talking about that negatively affects a fighter is, you go out there, it relates to the first one. You go out there, you do things that you never would have done before. You take risks because the pressure's on you. You need to prove to the world, listen, I've still got it. I'm still that guy. I've still got it. So you go out there, you take risks that you've never really taken before, and you put yourself in a situation that you've never really been and you've never been comfortable in. And that's like I said, that's a massive risk to take, especially in the sport of boxing, especially against a fighter like Rolly Romero, who possesses that concussive power. He's got amazing power. I mean, many fighters before Rolly Romero, I think Gervonta Davis also said it. There's a lot of guys before him that have said, this guy has got some insane power. So you would not want to be in that situation against a fighter like Rolly Romero, where you're reaching, you're trying to get that stoppage. You're trying to prove to the world, listen, I'm still that guy. So yeah, I think the pressure is on Teofimo Lopez, and I think that pressure is going to be his downfall, in my opinion. Rolly Romero, moving on to Rolly Romero, I think Rolly Romero has shown that yes, he might not be the smartest boxer, or he might not be the smartest boxer. He might not possess the best skills when it comes to the sport. I mean, he did start late, like I said earlier. But what Rolly has proven is that he's got the ability to adjust. Because if you look at Rolly, when he fought Gervonta Davis, when he fought Ismael Barroso, when he fought Isaac Pitbull Cruz, and the Rolly that fought against Ryan Garcia are two totally, completely different fighters. Completely. It's night and day. The output, I mean, look at that Ryan Garcia fight. There was barely any output. Rolly was fine. Just jabbing to that body, jabbing up top, jabbing up, and then waiting, being patient. That's not the Rolly we know. The Rolly we know comes forward, throws a bunch of punches, big punches, very heavy-handed, and wants to get you out of there. But the one we saw against Ryan Garcia is like, listen, I've made these mistakes before, and I know where it's got me. So what do I need to do? I need to, of course, make a change. If I want to stay at this level, I need to make some changes. And he made those changes. In that Ryan Garcia fight, he looked phenomenal. I mean, it wasn't the best fight, but he did look... I personally had him winning. I I won't get into why, it's a long story. But him being patient and going to that body and it's it works to his favor against a fighter like Teofimo Lopez as well, as we saw against Shakur Stevenson. Now, in regards to Rolly Romero, going back to what I was just saying about him being a patient fighter, what we also noticed is that he is patient, but he still possesses that power. The second round, when Ryan Garcia was in the pocket and dropped his guard for just a second, you saw that two left hooks, bam, 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 and that dropped Ryan Garcia. So Teofimo Lopez is in there with someone who is comfortable fighting on the outside, but the moment you step in range, the moment you're in there for a second too long, I'll make you pay. I mean, you saw that in the Shakur Stevenson fight. I think there's a time when Shakur Stevenson really dug to that body with a cross and that stumbled Teofimo Lopez. Imagine that was someone like, I know I'm not comparing fighters because every fight is different and you prepare fights differently. But he wouldn't want to do that against a fighter like Rolly Romero, because the moment you do that, you will pay. Rolly has concussive power. He's a big puncher, probably one of the biggest punchers in the division. So I personally feel like Teofimo Lopez is a bag of tricks. He's always been a bag of tricks, but he's a bag of tricks that's been discovered. I think he had so many aces up his sleeves, but those aces are no longer there. They've been discovered by Combosis. They've been discovered by Jermaine Ortiz, even though he didn't win that fight. They've been discovered by who else did he lose to? Shakur Stevenson. Shakur Stevenson set the blueprint on how to beat a fighter like Teofimo Lopez. Teofimo Lopez could go back to the drawing board and come back a completely different fighter, and he could stand a chance. I could be wrong. I could be wrong and be like, I'll raise my hand if I'm wrong. I'll say, listen, Teofimo Lopez proved me wrong. He came out a completely different fighter and beat Rolly Romero. But what can he do that's different? I think his keys to victory against a fight like Rolly Romero is to put the fight to Rolly Romero early in the fight, to have high output. Put the fight to Rolly Romero, high output. He has to be careful though, because like I said, Rolly can catch him. Put the fight to Rolly Romero, maintain a high output, and then leave Rolly to chase him in the second half of the fight. Now Rolly's fighting your fight. You've done your part, but Rolly has to come to your world now, where he's the one chasing you. Because this fight, the moment you're chasing Rolly, or it's gonna end bad. Like I said, it's gonna end bad if you start chasing Rolly. You'll get caught, and if you stay on that back foot, like I said, Rolly has shown that he has the ability to be patient, maintain that low output, just jab to the body. He beat Ryan Garcia by literally jabbing him to the body. So to beat Rolly, going back to what I just said, you have to maintain a high output in the first half of the fight, bring the fight to him, and have him chasing you in the second half of the fight. Win the early rounds. Make Rolly have to play catch up, because Rolly isn't the smartest of fight. He hasn't got the highest IQs. Then he's prone to a mistake. He steps a foot wrong. He might cross over his feet. Now he's in your world. Teofimo Lopez is the better boxer, in my opinion. In terms of raw skills, Teofimo Lopez is the better boxer, in my opinion. And he possesses the better tools to beat Rolly Romero. But when I put into consideration everything that I've just said, the mental aspect of it, and the mental aspect actually being the main part, because I think mentally, you have to be that. You have to be 100%. You have to be, especially against a dangerous fight like Rolly Romero. The moment you're not 100%, like we saw in the Ryan Garcia fight, you're in Rolly's world, man. He'll pick that brain. He will make you think. He'll make you frustrated. And then once you get frustrated, the moment you try overreach, or the moment you try show him you show your frustrations by trying to take it out on him or trying to get him back, he'll make you pay. Either way, it's an interesting fight. A fight that I'm really looking forward to. August 22nd. It's not really far. It's not very far. And it's happening in Las Vegas, and it's on DAZN. So I'm a DAZN Ultimate member, so that's good for me. I can't wait for this fight, man. Like I said, I personally think Teofimo Lopez loses this fight and Rolly Romero will be victorious. But this is boxing, man. I've been wrong so many times and I've been right more. I mean, does that even make sense? The way I've been right and I've been wrong. You know, I'm just going on what I see. Sorry about that. Doesn't mean I'm just going by what I see. That doesn't mean that I'm some professional who gets things right all the time. I've been wrong so many times, and people have made fun of me for that. Trust me. But let me hear your opinions, man. Who do you think wins this fight? And how do you think they win their fight? What are their keys to victory? Because you can always, anyone can say, oh, this person wins this fight without really knowing what's going on. And then you might be right, but let me know how you think Rolly or Teofimo Lopez wins this fight. Let me know in the comment section because I'm really interested. I've had a few people. I think, is Teo the favourite? I've not really seen the odds yet. I've not actually checked the odds. I would think Teo would be the favourite considering his skill and what he's achieved in the sport, and the fact that many people are not really fond of Rolly. But so if Rolly wins, is it an upset? To me, it's not an upset though. For me, if Teofimo Lopez wins, it's an upset because I didn't expect him to win. But yeah, that's just me. Maybe make sure you guys let me know who you think wins and how in the comment section. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that subscribe and yeah, stay tuned for the next episode.